All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Jackrabbit Illustrated production, of course, on the Jackrabbit Illustrated Facebook and Twitters and the FFN FCS Fans Nation YouTube. Our title sponsor at Jackrabbit Illustrated is Kubota Dealers of South Dakota, with 10 different locations across the state and a couple just over the border in Nebraska. There's always an orange dealer near you with parts, service, and sales. They've got every piece of equipment you might need, from skid steers, side by sides, all the way down to anything you may need to handle your yard, acreage, or your farmstead. Tons of good Kubota pieces of machinery for that. I remember I used to use a bunch of their diesel side by sides, and those things were just reliable truck along machines. Never had issues with them. Them things were rocking. I know Chad and Matt are in love with their BXs, their BX series tractors. Those things are baller. So thank you to Kubota Dealers of South Dakota. As always, we are the B team. I'm Brendan with Ben and Chad. And our show sponsor is Cubbies, or sorry, not Cubbies. It's Culver's. It's Culver's Sports. Culver's. It's not
Culver's
a sports bar. It's fast food. Culver's Sports.
Anything's a sports bar
Culver's
with a
Sports
phone.
Bar. If you're sneaky enough, any place is a bar. No, Culver's, Brookings, and Watertown. They've got a better brand of beef, makes Butterburger better. Big news on the Culver's front. Ben paid off his Scoopy token debt. Yay! And for some reason, he put it on. He found out you couldn't get it without getting a kid's meal. And, part of the reason I picked Culver's Scoopy tokens is I like Mitch Hedberg. If you haven't heard it, Mitch Hedberg, he's a comedian who was gone too soon. But he had a bit where he goes, they was talking about 3 easy payments when you buy stuff off TV. With 3 easy payments. I want 2 easy payments and 1 really hard one. So that's why I picked the Scoopy tokens. So Ben got me 4 gift cards, and I don't know why it's 4 gift cards instead of just 1 gift card, but you're muted.
You are muted still.
I think it was only 3, but
3. Okay.
I don't know, because I wanted it to feel like more than it was.
Feel like I got a bunch of Scoopy tokens.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of
yeah. Because I tried to buy Scoopy tokens, but the poor kid that had just started there was like, and he had to go ask the manager, and the manager told me no. So, but at least it's been paid. It's equivalent value.
Mr. Ben, is that a brand new T-shirt? That's a sharp looking T-shirt there.
No, I've had this one for a while. Got it. I don't know, one of the Blackout games I bought it for, probably.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it.
I got myself a new hat this weekend. God, I spent a bunch of money at Jackrabbit Central this weekend. But Culver's, besides making it difficult to get Scoopy tokens if you lose Scoopy tokens in a bet, Culver's is the place to go because a better brand of beef makes a Butterburger better. For Culver's custard, it's the way to go. A lot better than just getting ice cream at McDonald's. That's for damn sure. Dairy Queen sucks compared to Culver's. I will die on that hill. Yeah. And always get the cheese sauce with the fries. I'm telling you, you got to get the beer cheese sauce for the fries. If you don't, you're missing out.
But what about ranch, boy?
No, the cheese sauce. No.
Why don't you just take that moldy ass cheese that's in your pocket and make sauce out of it?
Haters gonna hate. And you know what? It's called aged cheddar, not moldy ass cheese. It's aged pocket cheese. So
it's already sauce coming out of Brendan's pocket. Yeah.
I got sauce for my pocket. Yeah, get the cheese sauce with it. I'm telling you, it should be more popular than it is. And if it's not popular enough, it won't stay around, and I'll be pissed, and I'll blame all of you for that. Get the cheese sauce with the Culver's fries. Anyways, yeah, besides that, fun weekend all around. The tailgate was a blast.
Yeah.
Volleyball game was legit.
I very much enjoyed the volleyball game. It was the first SDSU volleyball game I've been to. It was a blast. I highly recommend people go to them. I think you can get tickets for like $8 normally. They had a cool deal where you could use your football ticket for it to get in. It was really fun. They're really, really good and really fun to watch. And that arena is nice.
Oh my God, that place is going to be loud when it's packed for basketball. Oh,
because it's like everything's just like on top of the court, and yeah, it's It's really, really nice. The new screen is amazing. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, no, the and they have a pretty light show for Ben, which is exciting because we know Ben loves his flashlights.
I heard
No.
our big player got hurt. Is that
She walked off with a limp. Hopefully Sydney's not hurt. She's one of the two.
She was walking around the tailgate with a boot on, it looked like. So
That
we
is
saw that.
unfortunate.
I kind of
But
heard that.
sometimes they have those just keep swelling down. So
It's true, especially immediately after. So
at least it was a good thing she was walking. But yeah, after the volleyball game, went to tailgate. That was good. And then the night game, which is always fun under the lights. Would have been even more fun if we had a light show, but alas. No.
alas.
Shout out to the pyro, which not really pyro. The entrance
CO2
thing worked. It went off without a hitch. That was good. And then the game itself, I would like to tip my cap to USD. They are a legit football team. Yeah. They're good.
Yes.
We can give them crap all we want, but that is, they're in the top 4 of the teams in the FCS, I think, without a doubt.
Which would beg the question, why can't they sell out their stadium every single Saturday?
Well,
that's their own problem.
I know, but I'm just saying they have a quality product now. What's your excuse? And your stadium's what, half the size of ours? Less than. But
and speaking of, like you said, that's a good team that we just beat. It really is. And I think people, not everybody, and I feel kind of bad sometimes when I talk about this, and we say don't be NDSU fans, whatever. I feel like I'm putting myself off as like I'm the sheriff of the fan base, like what I say should matter, and I don't want to do that. But a lot of people like, we need to fix passing game. We need to fix passing game. Yes, that has been an issue of late. It was a lot better, especially in the first half last night. And let's be honest here. We just faced the 2 best defenses in the Missouri Valley Football Conference, 2 of the best in the country, back to back, one of them on the road. Ours is the best. We don't face ours in a game, so that's why I didn't include them. But we just faced them back-to-back weeks. Scored 2 touchdowns on them with our offense, held them to 1 touchdown, including overtime, where they get the ball starting at the 25. Like, I know last year, the last 2 years have been incredible, and we dog walked a lot of teams. USD wasn't nearly this good last year even. They're a lot better.
They're going to give NDSU
has not turned into some mediocre program where we can expect to win comfortably like we have the last 2 years, or win at all. Realistically, that is always a difficult game to win. And it feels like our fans were just not enjoying these big wins. And I wasn't, to be fair, till Jake was like, hey, it was a tough win against a tough team. And I was like, you know what, you're right. Cause we all grumble. Everybody grumbles in text messages and whatever, or their buddy in the stands or whatever. But I do think, cause I was thinking about this today a little bit and talking to a friend about it. We have a lot of guys who stay at SDSU and don't leave for NIL, and NDSU has had a bunch who have left. Now, don't get me wrong. The portal comes for us all. It will happen. We're going to lose guys. But what does everybody say? If you watch the coaches show, all the players, we watch the coaches show, you watch all this stuff, or they get asked why they stayed, and they say, well, it's the, they talk about it's the program and, the family feel and all that stuff. Well, our fandom is in a small part, a part of what helps them stay. The sellouts helps people stay, but also not losing our noodles because we had a close game that we won, or losing our noodles in deriding every performance if we do lose to a good team. Because if you think about it, what do we do after NDSU loses? well, I'm going to go check and see how their fans are doing. I bet they're melting down, right? I'm not saying don't have expectations or anything like that. I'm just saying there is, you think about it. If you're say you're at NDSU and even when you win, you're getting ragged on, or pick just whatever, you're at a program, and even if you win, it's not by enough. This needs to be worked on, and that's what the fans are saying all the time. And then somebody shows up with money. Well, you can get that same response too if you go somewhere else. We need to appreciate everything that this team is doing, because we lost 8 dudes who went to the NFL. We've lost 2 receivers. How many times have the Jackrabbits ever had 2 receivers that got signed undrafted free agents on the field at the same time that were the same class that we lost the same year?
The one.
Just recently. And really 3 targets, because you got to include Zach Hines. That's never ever happened. That's a one-off thing. Plus 2 starting O-linemen who got signed, and one of them got drafted and is playing in the league. Plus, when we talk on here about how we've got good guys, we're still going to be good, doesn't mean you can just replace those guys right away. We got to work with let the team work through it a little bit and keep getting better. It makes a big deal. That's just I just hope that everybody appreciates that was a huge win, and against a tough team, especially coming off the back of the marker game, and the grit this team showed as USD gets the ball and starts driving back down the field. I felt exactly like NDSU when they got the ball and started driving back down. And in my head, I was like, God damn it, not 2 weeks in a row, really.
Mm-hmm.
And for this team to dig down, yes, they dropped they dropped the snap, that helped, but bow up, force them to kick a longer field goal. They miss it because it's a dome kicker at 47 yards in the cold, in the elements. I mean, that's always a dicey proposition because he's a good kicker, but he's not used to that. And then to pull it out, that was awesome. That was an awesome job. And I would like to point out too, fans, we made an impact on that game for sure. There was a fair amount of procedural penalties on USD. There was a couple that should have been, like the play that drop that got reviewed. Their tight end in motion starts running downfield before the ball snapped. One of their long runs to the right, their whole right side of the line was way ahead of the snap, but it didn't get called. They got away with a fair amount. And if my mantra is, if they didn't call it, then it wasn't a penalty, because no matter how much you think it was a penalty, they're not losing the yards. The play's not getting replayed, so I guess it wasn't a penalty. But
yeah, so I mean, and I'm sure some USD fans were like, "Oh, geez, we had the touchdown called back, and we get this penalty call," and it's like, well, you can't play the what if game, because what if you would have got the other penalties called on you? And so yeah,
at the end of the day, you didn't.
But no, overall, I mean, it's a very good team. I was going to pull up, where was it? Kevin's comment on Gronowski. Whole lot of Jacks fans saying the Mark had a great game. He's 20 for 27 for 163, a great game this season for what he has to work with. I think that it is a good game against that defense. That defense is very, very good. If you've been paying attention to the scores they've been putting up, there's a reason why they've been winning like 50-7. And it's because they have a very, very good defense. And 20 for 27.
How many drops?
How many drops were there? There was one blatant one, and 2 or 3 that probably could have been brought in. So really only a couple misses. And outside of that, just his heart on his rushing yards. I mean, he left it all out there, man. There were some of those hits he was taking. I mean, normal quarterbacks would get knocked out of the game, but he got right back up. I mean, you could tell he was battered and bruised, and he was still in it till the end. And yeah, just huge credit to him. That was a big game from him.
And he was, stepping up in the pocket, taking shots. Making great throws off the wrong foot. And he was in his bag. He absolutely was. We don't have, the all 22 footage to be able to see if, he was missing guys or anything, but boy, the way he was playing, I sure don't think he was. He really did. And like you said, Kevin, with those stats, it's like, oh, how can you call that a great game? That man was on. I mean, he was thrown into tight windows, making great throws.
And I think another factor that doesn't show up on the stat sheet is just how many of those were clutch third down conversions.
Yep.
The USD's defense did a great job. I mean, stopping our run. I mean, yeah, we had some rushing yards, but we had to rush. I don't know what I think we had 44 rushing attempts.
Yeah, we only averaged 3.8 yards a carry.
Yeah, so they were doing a good job stopping the run game. They had some negative plays that put us in some bad positions, and Mark had some great throws on third downs that kept the offense on the field. And like I said, it doesn't show up in the stat sheet as much. So yes, it was a great game by him for sure.
And Brendan talked a little bit about grittiness. I just wanted to point out how gritty the team was after that turnover for scoop and score, how they came back out, didn't hold their heads. They just brought their lunch pills and went right back to work. And I mean, that's what made it a real quality win in my eyes.
Yeah, for sure.
They didn't get down, didn't let it get them down, just right back at her.
Yeah, and I think you talked about enjoying the win, and you definitely have to do that because it was a very good win against a very good team, and it's a rivalry. I mean, as much as we want to, kind of downplay it sometimes, it's still a rivalry. I mean, they're in state, they're right down the road. These kids play against each other in high school, and when they lose to us as much as they do, they want to win really, really bad. I mean, you could tell that was a team that wanted that win. And so you definitely have to enjoy it. Having said that, I can see, where some of the frustration comes from. And I think it is just that you see flashes of the offense being really good. The consistency just isn't there yet. And I think, that's why we went the whole second half without scoring a point. That we just weren't sustaining drives. We weren't, it was just a play here and there, a dropped pass, a missed block, an errant throw. It just here and there, it just happens, and you end up not staying on the field, and you end up not scoring points, and that's what I think. That's the frustration. But outside of that, I'm very encouraged by the changes and improvements that were made from last week to this week. The passing game looked markedly better. Mark was staying in the pocket a lot more, and Jimmy talked about it on his radio show, how he went through the footage with Mark from the NDSU game, and he showed him time after time, hey, you're drifting out of the pocket way too fast, and he made the adjustment. I mean, he even took a sack from it on one of them, and I even thought to myself, good, I'm glad he took that sack because he's staying in the pocket and he's looking for guys downfield. He's not drifting out of the pocket into pressure, and so positive adjustments. He was thrown into tight windows. So I think we'll see that continue. I think he's too good of a quarterback to see it not improve. And we have too good of coaches to see it not improve. And you saw that in a week's time. And so, give us a few more games till the end of the season. And I think by the playoffs, the offense will be humming pretty good.
Yeah, I think you definitely saw improvement, especially in the first half. It does feel like a little bit when you look at these games that we get a lead, and in a game that plays out this way, we tend to really get conservative offensively a little bit on play calling, not a lot of risky plays. And it should be pointed out, USD threw everything at this game. They wanted this in the worst way. It's been 24 years since they won up here. To hold them to one touchdown, the defense deserves all the flowers in the world. And like you said, I get where people get frustrated. You go a whole half where, you were cooking in the first half and then you're not in the second. I totally get it. Absolutely. But it just feels like we're content to try to hold the lead and not do anything that could cost it. And to be fair, that works out if their defensive end doesn't make a incredible hit on Amar Johnson to put his helmet right on the ball and pop it out. You know, that wasn't he's holding it loosey-goosey sort of scenario. The dude just put his helmet in the perfect spot and shot that ball out of there. And if they don't get that return, it's 14-7 game. Yeah, we're still probably feeling the same way about the offense, but it doesn't feel nearly as nail biting, going into that. But yeah, it does feel like it felt like two different halves from the offensively speaking.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the 605 Hogs when I watched it in person, but where we sit, we don't have the best view, had a really good game, but rewatching it, they just had a pretty good game. On the rewatch, there was some plays, especially in the first, I really was able to focus on the first half when I rewatched, where, we're driving, then two plays, missed block, bad block, and the drive's dead. And it almost feels, and I wonder if the offense that's just the issue. You just have one guy that's missing his block or whatever happens, and then it's a different guy, and it's a different guy, and it's not all fully cohesive yet going forwards, or a guy doesn't run a crisp route or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I think you just need to get that cohesiveness, like you talked about, and everybody doing their 1/11th. I mean, on the rewatch, there was just, the blocking would be great, and then just one guy would let his block go, and then the hole closed up. But he holds that block and it goes for 10 to 15 yards, and it's a first down, and the offense is cooking. But it turns into a 1 or 2 yard gain, and then you get second and long, third and long, whatever. So I mean, it just little things here and there that I think will get corrected. But
I do want to address one thing. Garrett Meyer says USD smelled blood in the water after our loss last week, and much of the game outplayed us. A lot of grit. I agree with the grit. I don't agree with the much of the game outplayed us comment, and that seems to be a kind of a narrative going around. It was a very even game. Yes. And USD made mistakes. Absolutely. They're the glaring mistakes that stand out to you. Why do they stand out? Why are they glaring? Because they lost. Nobody remembers the mistakes and things that happened nearly as much for the team that won. I mean, we were saying the same thing last week about ourselves against NDSU.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say we outplayed NDSU for most of the game. And, even Zim's article, who we love Zim, says the Jacks got lucky. Sure, is there luck that he drops that pass down the seam off the Pierre Strong copied play? Yeah, for sure. There's plenty of things you can go back. The Jacks absolutely outplayed them for the whole first half. Period. That's why it was 14-7.
Yep.
It was absolutely outplayed them. It had quite a healthy amount more yards, if I remember correctly, in the first half. In the second half,
if the guy doesn't get his helmet on the ball, they might not score any points in the second half at all.
Right. Like, they
your phone groaning at you? What was that?
Yeah, it is. I'm on call. I might have to dip out for a second. I just want to say quick, the second half, I guess they outplayed us. They didn't score any points though. Offensively, defensively, right. You could say they outplayed our offense. Sure, we didn't score any points, but their offense didn't outplay our defense. They missed the field goal. Well, we missed the field goal.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I saw, I didn't get to rewatch that far. That looked like a bad hold from where I was standing.
It was a bad snap.
Yeah, bad snap. So all the people jumping on Dustman,
don't
stop it. There's a lot more goes into a field goal than that. But I'm going to dip out for half a second here.
Yeah, I mean that hold is just another example of guys not doing their 1/11th and just the little things going wrong and not taking over a game like you should, not winning comfortably like you should. And that's why it turns out to be a tight game, but they pulled it out. Somebody mentioned missing Voorhees. It would be nice to get him back. I think we are missing that power back. I do. I was encouraged to see Brenner in on the overtime play that scored a touchdown. That was massive. His lead block there. I'd honestly like to see us do it more. Line up. I mean, let's say it's 3rd and 2. Line up with a fullback and tell teams to stop you.
I got the impression that they were holding him back a little bit because he wasn't 100% up at the NDSU game, and they're kind of working him back into the lineup some more. So I think we'll see some more
That's possibly
runs going forward.
That's possible.
Kind of what Jimmy alluded to.
I mean, put another tight end in there as a lead blocker, whoever.
They have been doing that a bit,
but yeah. I think just some of that traditional power football is needed at times. You saw a few times in this game where we needed a yard or two and we just couldn't get it. And so, I think that, something like that power football could be a big thing going forward. And like I said, make teams stop it. And as soon as they sell out to stop it, you got some play action off of it. We used to do that quite a bit, I believe, with Mike Morgan back in the day. Yep. And so, I'd love to see that again.
And I don't know if it's just because our tight ends are young or they're not as, I don't know, they don't play as physical as Tucker Kraft, but I don't see why we can't run a similar tush push play like we did with Tucker Kraft that always got us, 3 yards, 2 yards when we needed it. Don't be afraid to pull that back out, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. That worked well. Where's that in our playbook when we need just a couple, a yard or half a yard? So,
yeah. Let's see here. All this talk about the offense, but we need to highlight the defense. They are unreal. Just their tackling and the way they fly around the field and the number of jerseys they get to the ball has to be maddening for offenses to play against, because it at times it looks like it doesn't matter what the offense does. We're just all over it. Now, are there times where, we'll give up a dink and dunk pass, give up a few first downs? Of course. But once they get down to the 40, 30 yard line, you're done. I mean, the field tightens up and it gets really, really hard. And so, love the way the defense is playing. Garrett Myers says defense may be better than last year. Maybe. I mean, that last year was an all-time defense, but this defense is really, really good. It just held, 2 of the top offenses in the FCS to only 2 scores. And so, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and our linebacking core cohesively are just playing out of their minds. I mean, I think part of the reason you don't hear 32 Adam Bach's name being called quite so much is because the other 2 are just playing equally good. They are all over the field. They're in on every tackle. It's a group effort on every tackle. Those guys are outstanding. I don't know what else to say but outstanding. Yeah. They're pretty special right now is what I'm saying. So when you watch the defense, watch our linebacking crew and watch how excellent they are filling holes. Their run fits are just, man, they're spot on. They're all over the place.
Yeah, especially Francel on those open field tackles he makes. It just, it does not look like he's got the angle, but he just closes the gap. I mean, it's kind of like Jason Freeman was for us last year, where he gets to the flats and stops them real quick. And yeah, Josh Baker says, great to see Large back too. That was huge. He's Tucker Large is a leader on the defense, both emotionally and with his play. Yeah, I mean, the guy reads the ball so well, and his timing is so good. I mean, he is on top of the guy right when he makes the catch. So, yeah.
Yeah, and as Jim pointed out, when Dayton McGoy comes in, Dayton's been playing lights out too. I mean, there's just not really a drop off there, but we
Mhm.
don't play with 4 linebackers. Otherwise, that guy'd be on the field.
Oh, for sure. Yep.
And yeah, the secondary's been real good. They had some challenges up at NDSU, but we're pretty excellent in this game. And Carter Bell's a very talented player.
Mhm.
And we kept him in check for the most part. So they had a real hard time moving the ball. I think that's basically just a testament to how good our defense is.
100%. Yep. Which, speaking of Carter Bell, he did pull Beanham down on that.
Oh, absolutely. That was
That
a terrible. Not that it matters, because here, I don't
No.
want to be the person complaining in a
But
win.
that was
but
a pretty savvy move, because
It was, yeah.
he was kind of falling down, and he's like, I'm not gonna let Beanham go get this interception. You're coming down with me. And then the
And then
ref
he drew the
thought
flag.
thought that that Beanham was the reason why he went down. But
What was Brendan saying about if a penalty doesn't get called, it's not a penalty?
yeah,
Same thing. If you got flagged, and even if you didn't do it, guess what? It's still counted as a penalty, whether you did it or not. I mean, the coach might let you off the hook, but certainly it counts in the game notes.
yep.
And no sound. I got you, buddy. There, you're on now.
Hey, I don't know if I missed out when we were talking about the defense, with how
We did
incredible
just
they
highlight
are.
them. Yep.
You know what's amazing to me about it? Every time, just as a kind of when you listen to the national shows and stuff, every time we've been in a game against like NDSU or USD, or you're facing a big team, you hear a lot about how talented those defenses are. The word talent, for whatever reason, is never associated with this defense. And I don't get it, because they're talented as all hell, but they
Just
don't put up the
another
gaudy
no-name
numbers.
defense.
And I mean, just straight no-name defense. I mean, Adam Bach is talented out of his mind. Dallas Beanham's talented out of his mind. Tucker Large. I mean, Caleb Franklin. You can go through the list. Jared DePriest. They're talents out the ass on this defense, but just because of the way they play, it's just, yeah, USD, they got a lot of talent on that defense. They're really talented in the secondary. They're really talented here. Oh, NDSU, they're really, really talented here. And most starts are really talented. And then, well, CSU's defense is really good.
Well, didn't Bach get to 407? Was it 407 tackles in this game? And Jimmy on the coaches show was talking about how he would have usurped even the great NFL playing Christian Roseboom had he not gotten injured, early in his career those 2 times or whatever. So I mean,
starting middle linebacker for the Rams.
Yeah, right. So I feel like he might make a roster. I'm not feeling like that's a stretch. Sorry.
Speaking of which, we talk about the coach show all the time, but I can't recommend it enough. And go listen to it this week. Jimmy was talking about both Mark and Adam Bach, and just got choked up both times just because they're such good dudes. And it's just such a cool, I mean, you as a fan, you see them in their jerseys and their helmets, and you kind of forget that they're kids. They're humans. And it sounds like these two are just some of the best humans ever. And Jimmy was getting choked up about it. And so it's just cool to be able to root for guys like that. And, we know Mark's family, we know who he comes from and how good that family is, and how good of a kid he is. But yeah, again, just go listen to the coach's show, and you'll hear the way Jimmy talks about him.
Yeah. Have we mentioned our segment sponsor of Cubby's Sports Bar and Grill in Brookings, South Dakota? Apparently my count was wrong. It is not 3,000 TVs, it's 60. But I think my official count is more correct of 3,000. So
it feels like 3,000 when you walk in there.
I mean, roughly. I mean, that's how my math works out. It's a lot of gut math. It's fast math. I never said it was good math. I said it was fast. But Cubby Sports Bar and Grill, downtown Brigham, South Dakota, the best sports bar in the state of South Dakota. Go to Cubby Sports Bar and Grill. They have what is it? It's like a chicken Caesar this week is their special, like a chicken Caesar salad sandwich, which looks phenomenal. But they've always got the best beers on tap. Phenomenal Chislic, great nachos. Maybe someday soon, J.I. Italian nachos. But yeah, Cubby Sports Bar and Grill, they're the place to go. Obviously, advertising with us has done really well for them because they were packed out the door on Saturday, and that obviously had nothing to do with just them being incredible and the fact that they advertise on here. I'm sure of it.
100%. It's all us.
Yeah, but no,
they do
Cubby's
a lot
place
for
to be,
Jackrabbit
man.
Their name is all over the place.
Yep, and that's where this coaches show is. What a
Yeah.
coincidence. You can go down and catch it live. Sounds like it is a packed house every
Mhm.
time because like I think it was Amar they interviewed this week, and every time they're like, "What do you think of this?" And they're like, "Holy crap, there's a lot of people here." So it must be slammed.
The other thing about that is just listen to the overall feel of that interview with Tyler one-on-one versus like his other media interviews. Jimmy's
Right.
a different person down there, and
Mhm.
or even after the after show with Tyler, he's just got that really respectful rapport with Tyler, and they joke around a bit, and it's really a little bit more lighthearted, and Jimmy doesn't get yeah, I don't know what to say, but Jimmy's more lighthearted, and it's fun to see that side of him. Is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Well, should we move on from this game?
I suppose if we have to, I was kind of reveling in it. I mean,
Yeah, we should. Like I tweeted out, and you said enjoy it, and just the implications of that win, like the swing from a win to a loss was just massive. And,
oh my God.
you know,
Yes.
you think about like even the fourth down and overtime, like
Right.
let's say they stuff us and we lose that game. And now we're sitting at 5-3. And what's our quality win?
Incarnate Word.
Incarnate Word. They're doing pretty good. But, you know, outside of that, you know, it's just, you know, we're fighting for a top 8 seed at that point and looking at not even hosting a quarterfinal game. So it was huge. Now that we won that game, we're in the position where, you know, if we take care of business, we're guaranteed a top 4 seed, without a doubt. And we'll see where the chips fall. You know, how does NDSU do against USD? How does Montana State do against UC Davis and Montana? And yeah, there's nothing we can do about that, but just go and take care of business the rest of the year. But yeah, just massive implications from that win, that, you know, you hate to think about ahead of the game because you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. But now that it has happened, you can kind of look back and think, man, that was big. It was just huge.
That
You know,
was
we talk-
massive to win. Oh, go ahead.
We talk
Jack.
about the crowd influence and how much that matters. Like, we may not have won this game if it had been in Vermilion. I think that's fair to say, right? And perhaps
yeah.
we win the game before if it's in Brookings. So what's that hold for the future when NDSU goes down and plays a salty USD team? I feel like there's close to a 50% shot that USD could actually pull the rabbit out of the hat and beat NDSU, which will really mix things up for the playoffs. And I'm kind of excited. I don't know who I want to cheer for besides the Comet, but you know, it's probably in our best interest if USD actually pulls it out. I don't know.
There is a lot of, normally you get to this point of the season, there's not like a lot of chaos potential in the top, you know, couple, you know, you're within your national title contenders, unless it's Montana State, because the brawl's the last week of the season. But otherwise, usually it's pretty set, you know, and if that Montana State, you know, the brawl game is one that has implications on that. Usually it's, well, they're going to decide which one of them gets, you know, home field over, you know, better seed, whatever. There's still a lot of wild stuff that could go on. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you know, if USD pulls it off in Vermilion, which I think they're capable of, they're very capable of winning that game.
That's what I'm saying.
Especially with the, yeah, like you said, the amount of losses that NDSU is taking to injury right now, plus going down there. And then you've got USD, who has to go to UND, who they've struggled there as well, almost as much as they've struggled in Brookings. Not quite. I mean, nobody struggles anywhere quite like the Coyotes have struggled to win in Brookings, but
Except for UND
But,
outside the Alerus Center.
well, UND struggles everywhere besides the Alerus Center. But as shown by Youngstown State this week. But you know, they could potentially drop that game if they're not on their game. And you know, we've seen, you can even look at their schedule. You know, they struggled at Youngstown State. You could argue that was a trap game, but otherwise they haven't played really any road games besides Murray, Youngstown, and us. So that will be interesting. And then how does the committee decide it if USD wins in against down in Vermilion against NDSU? I mean, do they just go, well, they're all the same, so let's line them up based off of, you know, ranked wins? Because if that's the case, then NDSU comes up on top and SDSU comes in the middle, and then USD's at the bottom of that pile. Or do they look at it and have recency bias because, well, the NDSU lost to end the season, so now they're viewed as the third team? We don't know. And some of that will depend on how we are looking, because we've got a couple tough games. You know, you're at UND, who's only lost 3 times in the Alerus since 2020, and have a pile of top 10 wins in the Alerus Center. And then you've got a Missouri State team, even though they're ineligible for being ranked, that is looking like a tough one. Technically, they're top of the conference right now. Missouri State's leading the conference.
Mm-hmm.
Now, every team they've played is in the bottom half of the conference, but they're leading the conference, you know? So I'm curious to see how it goes. And yes, I know that they're not using the coaches poll or anything, but that is an interesting thing of itself. They're not using the coaches poll. They're not using the stats poll. And this is something I didn't think about because of that Kevin brings up, ranked wins by who. If you're not using those polls, what's
a ranked win?
What's a ranked win? Because that's traditionally been how you stack resumes. You look at Sam's articles, or, you know, he puts out the article. Sam Herder puts out the articles every week about resumes and stuff with the top 10 teams. Well, what on those resumes matter now? The strength schedule matters. And, you know, I brought up to Sam and Zach McKinnell when they were on the Southland sermon with the Rev last night. I said, well, I think we should be using, if you're going to use strength of schedule, you should use FCS strength of schedule and drop the FBS game. Because if the FBS game is not going to hurt you as a loss, then it shouldn't pump your strength of schedule. Like Mercer's going to end up with a ridiculous strength of schedule because they're playing Alabama. You know, Chattanooga's strength of schedule is ridiculous because they played Tennessee. You know, so what is your strength of schedule in the FCS? You know, that should be the true strength of schedule. And I noticed in Sam's article when he put it out today, he said SDSU will have the number 1 FCS strength of schedule at the end of the year as things stand. Obviously, that stuff can fluctuate. People win and lose. But man, how do you decide what a resume even is if you're not having any poll at all?
Yeah, which goes to I think John Neff asked the question, will another team for another conference with 1 loss move ahead of us when playoffs come around? No. And that is because of that strength of schedule for sure. And the number of quality wins we'll have.
And it was kind of, sorry, I was going to say, it was kind of in his article that each committee member gets to make up their own criteria as to what is the quality determinant as to who has the best resume, which is kind of crazy. You would think there should be some kind of template like this, then this, then this, then this. No, it's like, well, I'm friends with Craig, I'm going to use his polls. I'm friends with Craig, I'm going to use, or Kevin, I'm going to use his poll. You know, I'm a redshirt sports guy.
He is going to burn your house down for that.
I'm sorry, I don't care. What's the point of Craig's poll? Like, why does this stuff even exist at this point if we're not going to use it for that other than just fodder for us to talk about?
Right. Well, you could say that about any poll at this point. And you know,
I'm just picking his because it's the national poll.
I'm baffled by some of it. You know, what are you using KPI for when you can blatantly, obviously tell it is horrific.
Garbage.
It has Drake as number 4.
But they always use the coaches
And-
poll, and the same was
and the
true with that,
conversation-
Brendan.
It's not. It
It
even
wasn't
the
that
coaches
bad.
poll isn't that bad.
It's not that bad. Right. You
like
fair,
that-
fair.
That's my point. Is like I don't think I've ever seen a poll bad enough to have Drake as number 4 in the
They
country.
definitely should have spot checked the things that they said they were going to use before they said they were going to use them.
You're like,
To
well,
be
these-
like, ooh, we probably shouldn't use that one. Let's
just like
even if we are going to use it, let's not mention that one.
and let's be honest. I mean, Tim pointed out, Tim Rosario pointed out in our comments here that, plenty of committee members will still use ranked wins. They're human. They're also probably, as much as we complain about the committee, they do a fairly solid job overall.
You?
I think they're smart enough to understand that a rating that has Drake as number 4 is not a rating they're going to use. And by God, I pray they're smart enough when the last 4 out, they don't go, one of the deciding factors was the KPI. Oh God. Oh, Twitter's going to burn down if that happens.
Yeah. They might get nasty emails.
Chad, did you type out this text for Patrick?
No, I did not.
Can't out a number on the iTeat.
Are you sure you're not related?
His hair and my beard might look similar.
Yeah,
that's good. Anyway, let's Chad, you had the Missouri Valley standings pulled up.
Hold on.
What?
Since we've been talking about Kevin, and that makes me think of Alex's Lemonade Stand, and that makes me think of our other segment sponsor, Northwestern Mutual of Sioux Falls. Northwestern Mutual of Sioux Falls. All your financial planning that you may need, retirement planning and everything else, is at Northwestern Mutual. Head down to Northwestern Mutual of Sioux Falls, meet with a financial planner, get a load off your mind and a weight off your shoulders, get yourself on the path that you need to get on to be comfortable in the future. Northwestern Mutual of Sioux Falls is the place to go. Meet with Chris Schenkel. And Northwestern Mutual is also the one who puts on the Alex's Lemonade Stand that Chad has been diligently slaving away, putting shots,
so is Jim.
Getting donations. And Jim Poppin has been the B Team's all-star member. I mean, we should get him a shirt that says B Team All-Star on it, I think. Because he has been just championing the Lemon Top Challenge for Alex's Lemonade Stand. If you want to go and donate, Mark is in second place right now. They've got you go to FCS Nation Radio, and then on the drop down menu it has Alex's Lemonade Stand. Click on there, little yellow box. Click on that to donate, and then it'll pull up the leaderboard. You can always check the leaderboard. I have it favorited on there, so that way it's easy to pull up. But they have then you can click on Mark's name and click donate now. Let's get him to the top where he belongs. But it is a great cause. It is. We chatted about this weekend. They need to change kind of their slogan a little bit, because it's not for childhood cancer. We're fighting childhood cancer. They're not raising money to make childhood cancer.
We're gonna have to talk that one up the chain a little bit.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, I don't know. Kevin's got the hookup. He's got to throw it up there. But raised $13,500 so far. The Lemon Top Challenge, you do the hashtags of you tag Alex's Lemonade Stand, tag Northwestern Mutual, hashtag GoJacks, tag the GoJacks account with a picture of a lemon on your head, and $10 per social media gets donated towards to Alex's Lemonade Stand under Mark's name. We want him to win, as he so solidly deserves, by being just a great person in general and agreeing to do this. But yeah, every dollar counts. We sure appreciate BT Mafia coming through on this for us. Mark was towards the bottom for a while, and you will notice that Central Arkansas, David Walker for Central Arkansas, has $50 to his name. That is because I lost the bet to Ron Lowney. So he told me to donate wherever, and I felt a little guilty.
And yours is the only donation in there?
It's the only donation. I thought I'd kickstart one of the guys who doesn't have,
that's funny,
the donations they should have. So UCA fans, stand up, get shit going. Redbird fans, get your life together. and start putting some money towards these guys. But I figured I'd kickstart somebody, because more money raised is better for everybody because we want to get rid of childhood cancer. So that is why he's got $50. So my debt is paid to you, Ron, if you are watching. I'm surprised he's not just here crowing. He was very loud on the board show. So I can't believe he's not here.
Jim
What
asked,
time is the playoff show?
I was
1 o'clock on ESPN2, 1 Central.
1 Central.
And speaking of that, big news today. Did you guys see the TV schedule for the playoff?
Yeah. Semifinals on
ABC for the semifinals. Also, one of the quarterfinals will be on ABC, plus 2 of the other games will be on ESPN. And of course, that 4th game will get the normal ESPN Plus slot. But that is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. Now, granted, the semifinal games are going to have a lot of competition. There's NFL games at that time, plus a couple CFP games for the FBS, but those will be on TNT. So it's possible a casual fan watches the ABC FCS playoffs instead, just because they bump across it easier. So that's cool. Jim is correct. Ultimately, the kids win with each donation to Alex's Lemonade Stand. And thanks to Kevin and Stone for getting that together and putting it on. It is a fantastic cause. But
speaking of TV, I just ran across Herder's tweet saying that the SDSU USD game on ESPNU drew a whopping 38,000 viewers.
I'm gonna tag Jay Elson in that. I gotta ask him. I guarantee you it had more viewers on Midco.
It had to.
So. I think
but
so.
ESPNU,
we had half that many in the stands, for Christ's sake.
Right.
Yeah, ESPNU, it's pretty. It's almost
the Ocho, though. Come on, nobody. What's normally on there, weird things that you don't normally watch, like sports you have to be into, wrestling, volleyball.
Well, and I think
I'm not picking on anyone, but
anymore with people getting random TV subscriptions from wherever, ESPN is probably not even included in their package anymore. So
not only that, what if your team or a team that you kind of like is on ESPN Plus? You're going to be going and watching that. Back in the day, that wasn't even an option, So more eyes were on the major cable channels, and cable's kind of going the way of the dodo a little bit day by day anyway.
For sure. So you got the poll that doesn't matter anymore pulled up?
Correct. This is the national poll that does not matter. It does have the logo at the top. But...
NDSU's at the top. Then we got Montana State, SDSU, UC Davis, and USD running at the top 5. And then for Valley teams, you got to go down a ways. UND hanging on at 15. And Illinois State at 21. And that's about it.
Well, as Lincoln Park famously said, in the end, Craig's poll doesn't even matter.
Don't tell that to his wife. Oh. Married? Maybe he's not married. I don't know.
I've got...
I shouldn't have said that. Sorry.
You got me set up. I can't. I'm not going to swing. You put it on a tee. Matt, I want you to recognize that I did not swing it. That would have been an easy one, and I didn't.
To be fair, I didn't know I was setting you up. I was just making a snide comment.
Baloney. You did that on purpose.
I did not do that on purpose. Kevin thinks the poll's beautiful. He's a big fan of polls. We know that. He talks about them all the time. So good thing Kevin still loves the polls.
Did you still have the Missouri Valley standings pulled up? Or did you
I can get them just a second.
Oh, it's fine.
No, it's like 2 seconds. Here we go. Boom.
Oh man!
I pressed stop sharing. I'm an idiot. That's cool.
So I listened to the A team, and I didn't go back and listen. Did Mike Betts come out and say he's coming up?
He did. He's bringing 20 to 30 people. He said so.
Bring the gang. Bring them all. Are
we going to do pork loin? I mean, maybe we shouldn't have a production.
Before we
Pork
talk
loin.
about that, we got to go over the
We
Valley
got 20 to
standings.
30 extra people. I got to make more than pork loin.
NDSU is at the top, 5-0 in the conference. Missouri State 4-0, USD 4-1, SDSU 3-1, Illinois State, UND, Indiana State are all 2-2. Youngstown State's 2-3, and I can't see the rest.
Sorry.
I'm having too much
I
fun with the
will
comments.
scroll down.
Scroll.
I'm just putting them up. I'm just putting them up.
UNI and SIU and Murray State all with 0 conference wins. It is so top heavy this year in the Valley. It's bad.
You remember when you used to have to go that far down to find a team with a losing record? And
Yeah.
now only the top 4 teams have winning records?
5.
That's crazy. Is it 5?
Well,
Illinois
to
State.
be fair to Southern
Michigan.
Illinois, they would be better
Actually,
without
6.
injuries.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Indiana State to a lesser degree as well.
Indiana State is 2-2 in
Or
conference.
Illinois State, excuse me.
That's
That
wild.
is nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that
Indiana
has to do
State
with
above
favorable
Northern
schedules.
Iowa. Oh boy, if you'd have told me that at the beginning of the season, it's week 10, by the way. We got 4 weeks of football, including this one left, regular season.
Yeah, I was looking at the calendar. It's
Yeah.
only, I think it's 1, 2, 3.
We got
Still
2
don't have
home
our
games
intro
left.
done.
That's it.
Like 3 weeks and
Listen.
3 weeks and 5 days until the playoff bracket comes out.
Oh, now
Isn't that
I just
weird?
got goosebumps. Why do you? Woo. Yes.
It's weird. It doesn't
this
feel
point,
late
okay.
just because it's still like warm out. I think there's no snow or anything, but
It's true. But that's going to hit hard and fast here in South Dakota. We're going to get all the weather all at once, and it's going to be crappy from there on out.
probably.
I know, Brendan. You just bite your tongue. I know what I said. Don't be putting that together with the other talk. I know what you're thinking. Just you shush. Shush.
I missed it all together. I'll have to listen back on that one.
Don't
That's
clip
what Sam
it.
said.
That's what I'm going to
Anyways,
say.
Like Garrett said, damn garage time before Murray preview.
Poor Murray. I feel bad. I feel bad for like Mike Betts because poor guy.
good dude.
He's
Fun.
listened to us all year, and there's got to be part of him that's like, yeah, let's listen to him talk about Murray. It seems like,
We're an hour
Yeah.
in,
and we're like, yeah. It's just, man.
yeah. I mean, it's hard to really get up for it. It's when you look at the results they've had against USD and NDSU. Chad, did you take yourself off screen but not mute yourself?
He closes his thing.
I realized that just after I did. I flipped my cover of my camera and then laughed and went, "Oh, ish! I didn't mute my mic. I should have just took myself off the screen."
But anyway,
My first day.
They lost 59-0 against USD and 59-6 against NDSU, and you saw how we played against NDSU and USD. It's they've had some closer games against like Illinois State, Indiana State, but they got and against Butler, but they got absolutely whooped by UND, by they beat Mississippi Valley State. That's their only win of the year, and whooped by Missouri. So, John asked, "What's the crowd going to look like for this game?" The Green Dot Watch or Green Dot Tracker looks. I think it's like what is it down to like I don't know 1,500
promising.
left is all. So
I wonder what our record. We got to ask Matt because he's got a whole graph of attendance and everything going
got
back. I
an
wonder what the
Excel spreadsheet.
record for a non-marker game, November game is. Because I mean, you go back. Like
if you go
one
like
of the first
non-
games against USD, it was only 15,000
yeah, if you go like
in November.
non-USD or NDSU or Hobo Day or home opener, we're getting kind of down there. But anyway, it's going to be a big attendance for just a random game, really. But if you are looking for tickets, they got the Bleacher Bum thing back. $10 tickets, which is awesome.
Zach.
I forget how you find them, but we've been tweeting it out. Just go find the
It's the SDSU account.
the SDSU account. I think it's like code is Bleacher Bum or something. But yeah, weather's going to be nice. Yeah, I expect us to take care of business. I expect us to get out to an early lead and then get some of our guys rest. It's been a brutal schedule, and our guys could use a kind of a impromptu rest. I don't want to say bye because it's not a bye, but it's some needed rest for the starters, especially, and an opportunity to see what some of the young guys can do. Which we've got, and not only young guys, but I think guys that are new this year that just need some more playing time and need some more reps, and it'll be a good opportunity for that. Daryl mentioned the flyover this weekend for military appreciation. That'll be cool, and I think
So
it's
get in
also
early.
They're F-35s too.
Yes, F-35s.
I would pay $10 to watch an F-35.
yeah,
Like,
just for the
that's
flyover.
Sick. Just for the flyover. That's
Oh, yeah.
sick. And the code, by the way, is Bleacher Bum, all one word, all caps, Bleacher Bum 24. It's for
There you go.
$10 tickets. Sale ends at midnight on 11/1.
I thought the password was playoffs.
Nope.
Never mind.
That's just down south. We're not playing. We're not Vermilion.
The code is playoffs.
The
That's
code
funny.
is playoffs. Yep, and it. I believe part of the flyover is in honor of Matt Anderson, Danger,
Correct.
Matt Danger Anderson. So that'll be a really cool tribute for the military. Plus, if you are a military member, you get 4 free tickets. You just walk up to the walk-up window, you'll get 4 free tickets as well. So you can go for free, which is cool. Oh, there's Jim. Yeah, he popped up. There it is.
And bring a friend.
And bring a friend. I'm sure the quarterback will be amped up for this game. You know, he's a Sioux Falls kid. I'm sure there'll be a healthy amount of people there. He was Zach Hines' quarterback in high school. So I'm sure he's going to be out to prove something. He's had a fairly solid season from what I know. But yeah, man, once Murray gets out of and the crazy thing is, it's a bad year for the Valley, and they're not grabbing any wins.
Mhm.
And somebody mentioned earlier, like, yeah, their coach is committed to trying to build it up. It's got to be so much harder in the transfer portal era than it was even 10 years ago. It's hard enough to build up from the bottom in the Valley. We've
Mhm.
seen that and sustain it. We've seen that Indiana State looked for a second like they were something, but they made the playoffs. And then are back to being Indiana State. Missouri State has had flashes and then drops and then flashes. Western Illinois just bounced because of it. It's really hard to build up from the bottom in a very, very competitive conference already. But then, I mean, you do get the guys together. How do you keep them together? You know, you get a couple of real good guys and you do snag a win or two. You're still at the bottom of the conference. It's got to be incredibly hard to keep those guys around. I guess, yeah, Garrett, you're right. USD has done that. I'll give them that credit.
It took an SDSU all-star and coach to make it happen.
Well,
yeah.
You know, and it's year 2 of it, so that's good. Indiana State did it for 2 years. They weren't at the top of the conference like this. I don't think USD will ever be the bottom of the barrel. But anyways, thanks. Yeah, I got kind of rude. The old message boards poster came out on that one.
You come out a couple times this last weekend.
You know, yeah,
You kind of miss it, don't you?
there's part of me that I log out of Twitter for a minute because I was ready to be feisty, and that was for the best that I logged out before I said some things I shouldn't.
Ariel went and counted all the dots quick, and she says there's 1,195 seats left for the Murray State game.
He's a fast counter.
Anyway, we'll be on Thursday night again for Scared Money Don't Make Money. We'll see. We'll see what we can come up with for JII this week. That's all I got for now.
I'm not going to say it. It's just karma. It's just karma. The old message board guy doesn't exist anymore. Well, I know he exists in you because you get some SoCo in you, and I've seen your Twitter feed.
I knew that was coming. You teed that up for him, sir.
No, I don't know. I mean, look in this game. Honestly, I won't even be upset if the defense gives up a couple touchdowns. I really won't. We know what this defense is capable of. Just look for the offense to get out to a good hot start. Get into some rhythm. I think this game will be really good for that, for the offense to be able to try and find some rhythm. Even if you are getting 40 yards a crack or run, still throw a pass once in a while. I mean, I wish. It's hard to get super concerned when NDSU went the whole first quarter without having a second down play. Let that sink in. That's the silliest thing I've ever had someone say to me. I didn't believe him for a second, but it was someone I trust who's an NDSU fan. He's like, I asked him, they said, there's no letdown this game, huh? And he said, we haven't run a second down play yet. And then my brain took a while to process it because I'd never had someone say that to me before. And apparently Murray State never punted.
I was just going to mention that. How'd that happen?
What an anomaly. Well, what you do is instead of punting the ball,
you give the ball
away. Give it to the other team.
Yeah.
Or 3 interceptions.
Turn it over and 4th down. Yep, that's a bad start.
There's what Tim Haybeck likes to call the punt pass. You just throw it deep and let him intercept it.
Will Jaden Johansson even start against us? Looks like he got yanked after he threw 3 interceptions.
Oh, boy.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
They had 2 other quarterbacks. One of them had 6 attempts and the other one had 5 attempts.
Ooh. Wait, so they only tried 11 pass plays?
Well, the starter had how many was it? 22. So
okay,
they threw it 33 times.
That's much better.
Okay,
but still 3 interceptions. What else did they do? 5 turnovers and 4 on downs.
Yeah,
they were just
terrible.
Playing Madden and going for it on every 4th down.
Well, I mean, they don't run a second down play on you. If the guy never runs a second down play on you, you might as well go for it anyways. They're going to score from wherever they are.
What?
That's a good point.
I need to go watch the replay of this game to see what in the world is going on.
It's madness. Just madness.
It's like oh my God. It's like
Mike.
If like you the team that only shoots 3-pointers didn't think they're gonna win the game.
It's got the vibe of when Presbyterian College hired that guy. It was the first D1 high school, the high school coach who never punted and only did onsides, and that experiment went well. He had some wins, but they're only against you remember that North American university that was a scam.
Yeah. And he beat the crap out of that team, right? Like just destroyed.
Yeah, because
that was early in the season, and then after that, it was just.
I'm pretty sure me, you two, Dallas, Matt, and Jake, and then we picked 5 random people who could have beat North American by 20 points.
Presentation.
Yeah. Matt says their 3rd string QB killed him. Let's see John Bell do the same. I am curious to see. Once the game gets out of hand and we take our starters out, do we see much Chase Mason or not? Because the thing is, that guy's, he's a starter. Like, he's a very, very big part of our offense. And I just don't know how much I need to see him throwing the ball around a bunch or, putting himself at risk a bunch. I don't know.
I'd like to see at least a quarter of him running the offense.
Probably. Yeah, just in case, but.
So not just handing it off, but run the offense.
Yeah, Mark can take the first quarter. Mark can take the first quarter. Chase will take second quarter. That'll work.
John Bell for the second half.
Yeah, and it's not like our team's going to overlook this. Remember, we're just fans. We get to overlook whoever. And again, 59-0, 59-6.
Yeah. Maybe John Bell take the third quarter and Jack Henry, Del
you
Rapids native, fourth quarter. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to play this year, but
I kind of disagree with this comment. No
yeah,
offense.
we
Steven.
definitely
vehemently
should not be
disagree
running a
with
two
that.
QB system like Montana State
Because
used to
we
That
watched
never
Montana
worked out
State
for 'em.
not win a national title the entire time they did that. So, that's silly.
do. Agreed. With that, I think Jim mentioned it earlier. I'll go find it here. There it is. I don't know everything else this week. Like I said, we'll be on Thursday night to review our picks and pick this week's games. And
Yeah, I did all right, huh?
JIAI. You did okay.
You already get the
Fucking
JIAI
losers.
queued up, or you have to do that?
Oh god, no! That's always a last second thing.
Oh, okay.
I never.
It's not obvious.
Basically, like everything else in my life.
You better have a glue factory one in there.
I take
Might.
requests.
I might have some glue with me on the show.
What?
Don't worry about it.
Are you gonna eat glue live? I mean, you've eaten weird things
No.
like pocket cheese before.
You're gonna have some
We
props.
really want to bring pocket cheese back, huh?
No, I mean it was just for something funny that happened.
It's
you
just
know?
a good throwback.
That's
It's good.
good.
It's called a callback
Okay.
in comedy. Come on now.
I don't
All
know
right.
big words.
We'll see everybody on Thursday night, and then we'll see everybody on Saturday after that. Tell your friends to go buy Bleacher Bum tickets. Let's fill the stadium up, sell it out again.
Pack it out, baby.
All right. As Jim says, as we always say, go big, go blue, go Jacks.
Go Jacks.